My name is Lascelle Tillett, and this is Conversations in Tourism. I was exposed to tourists in a 59, 60. But I used to drive a Jeep, a Willys Jeep, for a gentleman that used to do jaguar hunting. So we would camp out in Blue Creek and in the jungle, bringing people to hunt jaguar. At that time, it was legal. But in 1960, with the help of the Audubon, that became illegal, which I am a board member of the Belize Audubon Society. And I started out by actually accident, really. I was a former taxi driver, and I would work from the airport, I would work from hotels like Radisson, it used to be called Fort George then, and Bellevue Hotel, and I would lead people on tours coming here as well, Alton Ha. At that time, we could only come in April and May when it was dry, and people would, I get word and mouth from one person to the next, and eventually I start doing tours, and eventually me and my wife came together and created this company by the name of S&L Travel and Tours. Our first experience for marketing was done with the help of Paul Hunt, which was the manager of the Fort George at that time. He asked me to advertise in a magazine. And when we went to him to tell him what we wanted in the magazine, he says, what name are you going to call it? We never had a name. He says, S&L, L and S. I said, S&L rhymes better. So that's where the S&L comes from Paul's Hunt office. S is from my wife, Sarita, and my name is Lascelle. That's where the L come from. In the beginning, she used to work out the itinerary in our living room. We never had texts and fax. We had to go to send a cable to London or to the United States, and with cable and wireless, there wasn't any. Telephone was rare, no?
Wow.
And so we came up during that time and we saw the fax machine coming. We thought that was wonder. No, nobody used fax anymore. The way we got exposed abroad was with the help of the BTB. It was Mrs. Godfrey. She gave me the chance to go at trade shows, and the first trade show I went to was in Germany.
Okay.
And then from 91 to 98, I went every year to Germany, London, and also in Spain. The biggest challenges was competition, I'd say, which we never had much problems with local, but we were competing with foreign entity. That was our biggest challenge. Alton Ha, Lamanai, and Coxcomb. Yes. Because of the variety of the Mayan sites and also the jungle, and Alton Ha has a river tour that we enjoy. We see birds along the way. It's a multi-tour because you don't only see ruins, you see wildlife as well, and many people love that. Well, one of the most memorable experience was the award that I got. That's me and my wife, you know. I remember everything include her as well, and I must say thanks to the office staff. We have two nice girls, Elvira and Nyla, and they are very much aware of everything as well. when you ask one of the challenge, I forget to mention September the 11th when the Twin Tower went down. That's when we had to send back a lot of money. We cried because we thought our business was going down the road. But now this pandemic, it's been a year now and that we're not working. And as a matter of fact, we had to close our office and we're working from home because there's no point in paying rent and nothing is coming in. Although we don't have any business now, but we are still pricing. We are still pricing, so we have to keep going. So we have got reservation for November, December, and they're still pricing us. They're still debating when to come and when not to come. Yes, so I'm certain it's going to open. I
How
think
does that look?
it looks good. It's starting because we're doing quite a few pricing for next year. Next year, and I think with the vaccine, I see entrance through the tunnel.
You see the light at the end?
Light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, yes, yes. I think that's going to help us because, like I said before, nothing is coming in, but we're still getting requests and positive company. Most of our business comes through wholesalers and through the internet. Was with the BHA over 10 years because the person that got us interested was Teresa Parkey. She was one of your administrators. She talked us into it, and I like the BHA because you get exposure in the magazines, and I think it's great. First, I was kind of curious about it because they say it's a hotel association, but if I cannot afford to go to all the trade shows, which we don't do much anymore. Right. But the magazine is there with our emblem and our service, so and I think it's a good idea. As I see it, I think all we have to do is make sure we put money aside. And one of the problem we have, I see with tour operators, they start competing for price. And sometimes they carry their price so low that they don't have a profit, so they cannot provide for later. And you have to keep your standard up, and you have to make sure that you put up for rainy days, because although the pandemic is here, but in normal times we have a high season and a low season. So you have to provide for the low season. And if we had a wonderful year just before. I mean, you wouldn't want to see the amount of cancellation we've had with groups. And if we didn't run it like a business, we wouldn't be able to survive this. The thing we have to watch that we don't overcrowd our parks. This is one of the problems we always see, that all our tours are private. We don't want to overcrowd the things because the high season is the nesting season for many birds. And if you have too much people, too much crowd, too much shouting, then they'll abandon their nests, and we don't want that to happen because we already have a problem with deforestation because animals and birds are losing their homes. And you don't want, in the reserves where you could still see many of this wildlife, you got to keep the volume down. Much variety. I mean, very few countries you could be in San Pedro in the morning, and by midday you're in San Ignacio or in Tikal, and back by evening. And I travel in a lot of in Central America, and some of the area you have to travel like 4 hours to get to it. I mean, it's so handy. So you could be in the jungle with bugs, and by night you're in your air-conditioned room, very comfortable. So I think, and now also the people, and I think we have an excellent row of guides, very, very good. And people always talk about the hospitality, the welcome hospitality that Belizeans shows when they come in. With the regulation that the government has, I mean, with taking this test before you come in and you have to have a negative, I think we're heading in a good area. And I also think with the vaccine, I feel safe.